So in Ghana, child marriages is an issue, and we're looking at this in light of the fact that World Vision is trying to fight it. But we have a story on that, so we'll listen to it. And after, I'll be joined in studio by guests to discuss this matter. Let's take a look.
Child marriage occurs when one or both spouses are below the age of 18. The World Health Organization says 15 million girls are married before the age of 18 each year. This means 28 girls every minute are married off too soon, endangering their personal development and well-being. Target 5.3 of the Sustainable Development Goals talks about the elimination of early child and forced marriages by giving every girl the right to realize her full potential. However, the Ghana Demographic Health Survey 2014 reveals 1 in 4 girls marry before the age of 18, with rural areas recording the highest of 36% compared to 19% in the urban areas. End Child Marriage Now, It Takes Us All campaign is therefore aimed at ensuring legal enforcement of child protection laws and challenging social norms.
The government should amend the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, Section 14A, to increase the age of consensual sex of 16 to be consistent with the legal age of marriage, which stands at 18.
Although parents who marry off their daughters allegedly often see child marriage as a way of ensuring economic security, quite the opposite usually happens. Regional Director for World Vision West Africa, Esther Lehman, says the organization has put in place monitoring systems to ensure the objectives of the 5-year campaign is realized.
This is not something that one thing alone can do. It needs to be done together. We also make sure that the children themselves are very active. We want to mobilize households to just stand up, faith leaders to stand up.
The campaign will be launched on June 30 in Tamale.
Welcome back. We'd like to apologize for the break in transmission, but we're back. We're discussing child marriages before we went off, and we were discussing it in light of the fact that World Vision wants to champion the fight against child marriages. Indeed, it's been an issue in Ghana over the years, but it's high time in this current dispensation we look at it aggressively to curb or kill this menace in the bud before, you know, it takes control over the whole nation. Because indeed, a child is someone, as defined by the Constitution, someone younger than 18. And for that person to go into marriage without the right framework, without having had the opportunity to choose who, when, and how they enter, it is definitely a worrying concern. Irene, what is World Vision doing about this, or what do you plan to do to curb this menace?
Okay, so as per our campaign name, End Child Marriage Now, It Takes Us All, it means that it's not one entity that is doing it. We are looking at all hands on deck, every stakeholder, because child marriage is both a cultural issue, it's a traditional issue, and it's also like the lack of enforcement of existing laws.
Exactly.
Because the laws clearly state that it is
an offense, a criminal offense.
But it's the enforcement. And because there's no enforcement, people find themselves doing it and they go scot-free.
Irene, I was just going to go on that tangent because World Vision seems to, you know, get the law to be amended so that the law which states that a child is allowed or a female is allowed to have sex before 16 but married at 18, the legal age for marriage is 18, there definitely is a breach there. And so if anyone marries before 18, you've offended, you know, you've committed an offense and you should be prosecuted. But if we're only looking at amending the laws, because those that already exist don't work. So I was looking at it that World Vision may take a step further at helping or, you know, raising awareness concerning the enforcement of punishment for those who go against the law. Do you agree with me on that, Chow?
Yes, definitely. The World Vision is looking at how really these two can be matched. The consent age of 16, how it can be brought to 18 to match the age of marriage.
Right. Yeah. But even what I'm trying to drive at is, even before that law comes into being, what can we do to curtail it? Because like we rightly heard in the documentary, it's parents give their children out because of poverty. So until we sort that cultural or economic situation, it's going to keep happening.
It's a whole, what do you call it? It's a complex issue.
It is.
The root causes are complex. Poverty is one driving force.
Yes.
Teenage pregnancy is a driving force. So that the reason why we are advocating for the alignment of these two laws is, I can consent to sex at 16.
But I can't marry.
I get pregnant and my family wants to save the face of the family because we hold the family honor and the stigma that is associated with marrying and giving birth, wedlock and everything. So every family sees, okay, you are pregnant, so find yourself in the house of the man that impregnated you.
Yes, but you're not married to that
man. You're not
man.
married. So why don't we bring these two laws to alignment so that if I can consent to sex at 18, then I am at a legal age to marry, so that when I'm pregnant, I can still find myself in it. Also creating awareness, because people don't know that it's even a crime to marry off their daughters before 18. How do we mobilize people to get aware of these things? And we can do this in partnership with all stakeholders. That's why our campaign name says, it takes us all. So Nanama, what can you do as you sit here? So that
I've invited you to speak on the platform.
This is good.
Yes.
So that people are aware of it. It takes us all. Traditional leaders are aware so that they are the custodians of the laws in our communities. So that if a traditional leader will say that I am enforcing these bylaws, then we will see that these things, this menace is gradually eliminated.
But Chow, do you see this playing out also in education, educating the girls themselves to understand that before 18 you are not allowed to marry? And ideally, if we're able to bridge the gap or put these laws into, one, then you're not even allowed to have sex before the age of 18.
Yes, absolutely. Educating girls would be very important. It's one of the strategies that World Vision will be implementing over the 5 years, because this is a 5 years campaign from 2017 to 2021. So in schools, girls will be educated on questions around sexual reproductive health, on how to prevent themselves, but how to be themselves also actors that are preventing child marriage in their communities, in their schools, reporting on cases where there is a tentative to marry a girl, how themselves, the peers, can report on it and make sure it is prevented on time. So we want also to equip girls to be actors in terms of prevention of child marriage.
Definitely for this, you have a target. You plan to reduce child marriages by about 50% by 2021 when the 5-year plan, Can you outline briefly the steps you plan to take to achieve this?
So after our launch, World Vision has integrated this campaign into our technical program area. And when I say that, we have 4 focus areas in health. So when we talk of health, we will talk about reproductive health, and as Sagan rightly said, so that girls are aware of their changes that they go through and what puts them out there to even get pregnant. Also in education, getting community to advocate for girls to be in school, because we realize one of the driving forces is gender inequality.
Definitely.
Because families will not put out their boys out there to go and marry, but why is it that
the girls are going out there?
So the equality comes in and driving that. Poverty is one of the driving force, and one of our programs is in food security and resilience. And child marriage is found deeply in rural areas, and most of them are farmers. How do we empower them so that they are able to sustain themselves and their families and not give their children out? Because, okay, I have more than 5 children. In order to make sure that I can feed them, let me give out the girls in marriage. But women are engaged in this food security and through various models like village saving loans, so that women are able to save and get empowered, and get access to credits. And we also have water access, sanitation and hygiene. And somebody will ask, how is it related? So that if girls don't have access to water and they have to travel like 2 kilometers to get water, they are vulnerable. They are vulnerable.
Yes, definitely.
They find themselves out there, and perpetrators can hide in the bushes, waiting to just pounce on them. So if we have access to water and they don't have to travel that kilometers,
it may take care of some of this.
One of the strategies also that World Vision will be implementing over the 5 years is related to faith leaders. We all know Ghana is a nation of believers, either Christian or Muslim. World Vision has a model called a Channel of Hope, where faith leaders, either Muslim or Christian, come together and discuss developmental issues like maternal and health issues, child protection issues, and based on what? Based on their holy books, the Quran and the Bible. So out there, then they can be able in their congregation, either on Friday or on Sunday, to educate the households.
Definitely. Let me thank you, Irene and Chow, for joining me here. We have been talking about child marriages and the plan to end this menace in Ghana. Indeed, it takes all of us to make it work. It takes you and it takes me. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.